Be responsible about what you buy with your money because money does not grow on trees. Have you ever heard that growing up? Well, if you are someone who has been downgrading your want because you're telling yourself that the smaller, sensible version is the more responsible one, then this episode is for you. In January of this year, I had told my mentor that as a mark of me arriving or achieving my multi-million-dollar status as a businesswoman, I would buy myself a diamond ring. Not after I achieved the outcome, but today, right now, so I embody the identity of that multimillionaire. But 6 months went by and I had not bought my diamond ring. Every time I would negotiate within myself to buy maybe a $200 or even at most a $500 diamond ring just to make that tick mark to say, yes, I bought a diamond ring. Every time I got close to buying the diamond ring, I talked myself into potentially getting something for $200 or at most $500 version of that diamond ring. Here's the takeaway even before we start. The size of what you're willing to buy for yourself is the identity that you're living in right now, not the one that you believe you are. In this episode, I'm going to show you exactly how I shifted my internal operating system across worthiness, fear, and identity to finally allow myself to buy that real version of the diamond ring that I have desired and not settle for the $200 one. Stay till the end because what I'm about to share in this episode so you can spot where you're doing your own $200 downgrade version in your reality. Hi, my name is Ajita and welcome to my YouTube channel. With over 20 years of corporate executive experience, I am now the spiritual advisor and consciousness architect for professionals and entrepreneurs that are ready to upgrade their internal operating system to lead at visionary scale with increased leadership capacity and consciousness. What I share with you in this video is my life business building experience. I'm not building this business from hustle and grind. Instead, I'm using what I call the 7I principles or the 7I pathway of conscious co-creation, where the 7 I's stand for infinite field, intention, identity, imagination, intuitive decision, inspired action, and inevitable results. This is my live case study of taking my business to $4.4 million using the 7I pathway and my proprietary EPIC leadership operating system framework, where the word EPIC stands for E for emotional operating system, P for physical operating system, I for intellectual operating system, and C for consciousness operating system. This is the same framework that I use with my clients for their identity shifts and for their massive external growth and results. Week by week, you will see invisible shifts causing visible results. We are now on week 21. Let's see what's shifted. Back in late January of this year, I met my mentor in person at an event, and at the dinner table, she asked me, what would mark your arrival of a creation that you're working on as a leader in physical reality? And I said, that would be me becoming a multimillionaire in my business, and the action that would actually mark what would I do when I achieve that outcome is me buying myself a diamond ring. She said, great, go buy yourself a diamond ring now before the external reality proves that you're a multimillionaire. I said, done. And I came back from that trip, and 6 months went by. I still hadn't bought that diamond ring. Partly, I lost track of that. It was out of my memory, but also I realized that every time that came into my awareness, my internal operating system was glitching. It was giving me challenges to make that action happen. Ultimately, to kind of cut the story short so you understand that that outcome actually happened, I did go and buy my diamond ring, the very first diamond ring that I've ever bought in my life for myself. I bought that this past week. On July 5th, 2 days before this particular video was posted, I decided to go and buy myself a diamond ring. Even then, when I was going to buy the diamond ring, I was still negotiating within myself to probably buy something in 2,000 range or maximum up to 5,000. But stay till the end, I'll tell you exactly how much I bought that diamond ring for and what it took for me to step up to that level of consciousness, wealth consciousness, to be able to say yes to that purchase without fear, with absolute certainty, and have a blast doing that purchase. So here's what happened. After I committed, saying, yes, I'm going to go do it, and I came back from the trip back in January, that's when in February I made the declaration of $4.4 million in my business as an outcome that I was marching to, and I started this YouTube series. But every time that diamond ring purchase came into my awareness, I was talking myself out of it. Emotionally, I felt a little bit of constriction. I felt like, okay, I don't think I want to buy a diamond ring. It's not, the first came to my mind in my intellectual operating system was, it's not that's not where the money should be spent. It is irresponsible for you to be spending money in a diamond ring when you know you have an IRS tax audit that's going on, when you know you're not having a steady flow of revenue. So my human operating system was constantly showing me why that purchase was irresponsible to make. Okay, that's the intellectual operating system constantly spinning and looping, saying why it's irresponsible of an act. Emotionally, I was not feeling certainty. I was feeling more uncertainty. I was unsure, and I was having more fear than faith. I was definitely operating underneath the undercurrent of fear was, what if I buy it and then nothing happens and I'm stuck with having spent the money and no outcome to really show for it, right? So there's a fear loop that was running in the emotional operating system. And then physically, I didn't even make an attempt to go to any store. There was no place I visited in the last 6 months to even try on a diamond ring. It was completely an act that I didn't even buy into. And on an identity level, it was very clear that deep down, the identity that I was holding is I am unworthy. I didn't feel worthy enough to buy myself a diamond ring. Mind you, this is not that I didn't have the money or I don't have the money. It's not that at all. It is simply not feeling worthy enough to buy something that precious for myself. So what signal I'm giving about myself to me? That I'm not worthy of investing something as precious as that into myself. So clearly the identity was I am unworthy. And if you're following this series for a while, if you haven't, then please go back and look at the whole playlist, because I have a video that I've posted every week on how much of an internal change I've gone through since the time I made this commitment back to my mentor, and February when I launched this YouTube series for the 4.4 million journey. I have gone through massive internal shifts. One of the big ones was worthiness. And I know that the biggest shift I've had so far, the bottommost one from an identity standpoint, is I am worthy of being a multimillionaire, of running a business that is making multi-millions, of actually impacting millions of people. All of this is tied to feeling worthy from within. So when the worthiness shift happened a few weeks ago, and I'm not sure which week it was, but it was a very deep shift of worthiness for me, that's when the things started coming back more into my awareness. So the point being that we wait often for the external reality to show up. When I hit this goal, then I will go and do this. That is always the paradigm and the programming that we operate on. We are almost shamed to celebrate something. Even after we achieve it, we don't celebrate it. It is even more ridiculously delusional to be celebrating something that hasn't yet unfolded in external reality, because that's how we have been programmed. And one of the best things I did for myself with this diamond ring purchase that I did on 5th of this month, which happens to also be on paper my a milestone birthday, I said, you know what, great, let's just go do this. And one of the best things I did through that act was showing myself, my subconscious mind, that I truly believe I'm worthy of investing a diamond ring in myself. I mean, it is ridiculous to say, after having lived in this world, in this planet for so many years, I've never bought a diamond ring for myself. That clearly goes to share and say something about what's running in my operating system. Why did I not feel that it is worthy of me, or I am worthy enough to buy myself a diamond ring? And the beauty is nobody else gave me one either. So that made me reflect. It is really not about other people, right? It's even if nobody gives it, you can go buy it for yourself. But I hadn't bought it even for myself. So it is clearly an indication that it's not about the external reality. It's not about who didn't give you X, Y, Z. No, it's not about other people at all, because in reality, everything in this universe is you pushed outwards. There is nobody outside of you. And so if any of you are in the cycle of blaming people, saying, oh, I did so much for this person, but he or she never did anything back for me, I want to bring awareness. They are not outside of you. They're simply a reflection of the part of you that you haven't accepted within yourself. So if you are in this place where you feel like you've been overgiving, overdoing for other people, and you have not been getting something in return, go back into your own self and ask, where am I blocking my ability to receive? Because it is not about somebody else doing the act of, or not doing the act of something. It is clearly you. Your energetic field is repelling any type of ability to receive. So one of the big things I shifted along with worthiness is ability to receive. And I think in my last week's episode, I showed you how beautifully things opened up for me, the ability to receive. This week, I had another breakthrough. I had my very first cold ad sale on Meta bring a sale for me, $44 sale. So the masterclass that I did a few weeks ago, I created a replay of it, put it into the portal that I use, Kajabi, and I started running ads on Meta. And Saturday was the first time I had somebody purchase that first cold purchase. Somebody who didn't know who I was simply looked at a 30-second ad of mine, a video of mine, clicked and purchased the $44 masterclass. Another sale came in the day after. So to me, these are all a clear evidence of the fact that I'm open to receiving. This week I attended a series of wedding festivities of the same individual, a friend's brother, and it was so beautiful to see people complimenting me, and my ability to receive compliments has exponentially increased. I simply say thank you. I don't push it. I don't say anything, but I just say thank you and I receive it, because this is testament that I'm open to receiving. And the reason I'm sharing this in the context of this whole diamond ring thing is because anything that we are desiring in our life but isn't in our physical reality yet is simply blocked because of our beliefs, our fears or emotions, right? That's what it goes back to EPIC. What emotions are blocking my ability to receive? What programs are blocking my ability to receive? What identity am I holding that is blocking my ability to receive? And ultimately for me, it was boiling down to worthiness. And so I am worthy is a huge identity shift that I went through that is becoming so much more clearer to me right now, that my ability to receive has exponentially increased because of this. Because of this shift, I've opened up channels and I can see the flow coming in. Now, of course, the human operating system goes, oh, well, that's just $44. That's just one person or just two people. It's not like you made your millions. This is the nature of human operating system. It automatically discounts something that happens. Please do not allow your human operating system to override your soul or your leader's operating system. Your leader operating system operates in alignment with your soul. And my soul was rejoicing. I was constantly tuning into what is happening right, what is going right, what is unfolding for me. And I kept thanking. I was so deeply grateful when that first sale came through. And I was so deeply grateful when the second sale came through. And I kept telling myself 95% of the creation that I am doing as a leader, as a conscious co-creator, is happening in the unseen. I don't see it, but it's happening. Here's another evidence. I actually wrote to this person who had done an outreach to me many moons ago. I found their message as I was going through who I need to invite for my last few weeks past webinar. And when I found this message, something told me to just respond to this person. And I said, okay, let's have a chat, because they were reaching out to see if they can collaborate with me as a leadership trainer or facilitator for some of their clients. I said, let's have a chat. And we got on a call this week, and apparently they end up having a client deal or an RFP that has come through that they need my help to respond to. And it's something that I'm very good at doing. So I said, okay, let's work through this. And I've simply shared some aspects of that with them this week. Now, whether something comes out of it or not is irrelevant. What I am celebrating is the fact that every single one of these incidents is proof that I am open to receiving. I had somebody else reach out to me on their own, a coaching company that I had spoken to back in 2022, reaching out saying, hey, we remember having this conversation with you. We are curious to see if you're still open. We want to continue to see what other possibilities exist for collaborating. So I booked them a call with them for talking to them next week. So the point I'm trying to make is this. The minute you decide you're worthy and you're open to receiving, channels open up. And so if you are staying in a space where nothing is happening, nobody is giving to you, nothing is coming your way, if any such dialogue or narrative, story is unfolding in your operating system, please go within and ask yourself, what are you afraid of will go wrong if you were to start receiving bigly? Because one of the identities that I'm holding right now is not only that I'm worthy, but I'm a big, humongous receiver. I receive hugely. And that is a powerful identity shift. So coming back to this diamond ring story, right? So the fact that I was trying to rationalize or be responsible, it was coming from my intellectual operating system. And I was almost going to buy something for $500, saying, oh, I only told her I'll buy a diamond ring, so it can even be for $200, $300, at most $500. Why not? But at the same time, that is my human operating system trying to bring logic and rationality and responsibility in my spending right now into this picture. And I said, no. My soul's like, no. My leadership operating system is like, no. $500 diamond ring you could have bought any day. But if you truly are celebrating your achievement of your ability to co-create bigly, massively, and ability to receive massively, you wouldn't be buying a $500 ring. You will buy something that makes you feel a little bit uncomfortable. And that is when you know you're actually stretching outside of your comfort zone. And so I had to kind of work through all of this. So coming back to the summary, what are the key shifts that I had to work through is, on a consciousness level, the identity of releasing any unworthiness and claiming the identity of I'm worthy and I'm a big receiver. Two big shifts in identity. In the intellectual operating system, I had to reprogram myself to say that money is energy and money is abundant. I'm not rationing the air around me. I breathe knowing fully well that every time I exhale, I can also inhale. There is plenty of air around me. Money is the same. If you have not been taught to believe it to be the same. But I have programmed myself now to know that prosperity for me is the ability to circulate money, not hoard money, not save, not keep millions of dollars stashed aside. Because truly, people that are wealthy and people that are prosperous are people that know and understand the value of circulating money. It's one of the big changes in how I see money that has unfolded for me in the last 2 weeks, is changing the way I see money, and the fact that it actually allows for me the opportunity to circulate. The more I circulate, the more I receive. The more I give, the more I receive. The more I receive, the more I give. They both go hand in hand. So for me, the definition of prosperity now is my ability to circulate money. And so to, give out a certain amount of money to receive a diamond ring in return, which marks my arrival of my ability to co-create and, bring things into manifestation in this reality, is a big deal. So on an emotional level, I had to make sure that I was not making this purchase from a place of fear. Because if I buy anything from a place of fear, I'm going to stress my nervous system, and I'm going to feel dysregulated, and I'm going to make all irrational decisions, which it's going to hinder my ability to continuously co-create, because my state of being is no longer in the happy, joyful state, but I'm now in a fearful state. So I had to really focus on working on clearing the fears and the unworthiness pieces. Now, once these shifts happened, and if you are curious to know exactly how each of these got shifted, I would recommend you watch the last 6 weeks worth of videos that I have, because that's been the process over the last 6 to 8 weeks of releasing unworthiness, receiving, being open to receive, releasing the fear-based paradigm, and now improving my perspective on money. These are all composite ways through which I have moved the energy, and thereby feeling ready to make that decision. Now, as a result of all these different shifts on the EPIC levels or layers, I was finally able to make that decision, and I knew intuitively, because I was having so much fun over the last 4 days, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 4 days last week. I was in the wedding festivities, and I was having a blast every day. Either singing, dancing, talking to people, connecting with people, having good food. Every single moment was precious. And the time that I was not spending in the festivities, I was sleeping. There was nothing else that I did in those 4 days. So only because I knew intuitively the ask from the infinite field of me is to just have fun. There was such a deep knowing. Go have fun. And guess what? I had so much fun on Saturday. When I woke up, I had my first sale from the ad. And Sunday I had the second sale from the ad. So point being that I'm learning now more and more that I set the intention to achieve the 4.4 million without hustle and grind. And so the infinite field is asking for me to live in that knowing, in that vibrational frequency, that I don't hustle. I just have fun and I make money. That's my new paradigm. I have so much fun singing, dancing, being myself. Can you imagine getting paid in millions just for being you yourself? You don't have to do anything else. You just be who you are. And from that beingness of who you are, you're able to have so much fun living life, allowing life to flow as you in this world, and be making millions. Because that's my vision. That's the true identity that I'm embodying. And I'm seeing the results already externally manifesting. It's already here. And so now you're like, okay, we get it. Now just get to the point. What exactly did you buy, right? So here I want to narrate a little bit of that story. So I walk in, this is Sunday, July 5th. And it happens to be, as I said, my milestone birthday on paper. The real birthday is in September. So I said, okay, let's mark this day, because I knew that was the day I was supposed to go and buy the diamond ring. I said, okay. And guess what? Here's the other beauty. How the other aspect that happened, I got 2 different credit cards approved by mistake on, I was filling in an app, and I was just checking for some pre-qualifications, and I got 2 of them approved. One of them is interest-free for 12 months. And they had only given me $2,500 of credit limit, okay? This happened a few weeks ago. The card had arrived, I had not activated it. It was lying in the side. And then this awareness comes, okay, go and get the diamond ring. I was like, okay, I have 2,500 available as a limit. Let me just buy a ring for 2,500. And the day I wake up, this was Saturday, when I wake up, when I get the ad sale, I also get notified by this card company, your credit limit has been increased to $20,000. I didn't even ask for it. They just did it on their own. I was like, great, here is my ability to receive extra, more. And I've spoken about this before and I'll say this again. Any of you that feels debt is bad, negative, I would love for you to reframe it. Debt is simply another opportunity for you to receive money from a source that is able to provide to you now until the cash flow catches up from your income stream. So I don't see it as a bad thing at all. In fact, I was rejoicing the fact that I have got an extra few $1,000s available in a credit line that was interest-free 12 months. So that happened, and then I'm like, okay, I just knew intuitively on Saturday, this is the day I'm going to go. I got up, I got dressed, I put on my makeup, did my hair, dressed up like a multi-millionaire. I wore a beautiful top that was silver glistening and had my nails and, wore my heels. I just looked the part, right? Wore my beautiful shades that I bought and walked to this place, and I knew where I was going. It was this place called Jared Jewelers, Bel-Air, and I walked in. I had this beautiful from Delhi and another guy, salesperson there, Hamid from Afghanistan, both of them welcoming me. And the lady asked me, so what is this purchase commemorating? And I said, I'm celebrating multiple milestones, one of which is I'm a multimillionaire. And she's congratulated me. They were so happy. And then I also said, this happens to be a milestone birthday for me today. She's like, excellent. So, and then she says, let's just have some fun. Can I show you the best diamond we have here for the ring? And she shows me a 5-carat diamond stone. And it was beautiful, but too big. It felt too big for me. I looked at it, I put it on in the setting that she had, and I looked at it and I said, it looks great, but it's just too big for me. She said, no problem. And guess what? That particular stone was $130,000 and it was gorgeous. But even if I had $130,000, I don't think I would have bought it because I didn't feel the connection. So she kept asking me, what are you looking for? And I said, I don't know. I'm here to see which one calls me. That's exactly what I told her. I said, I'm here to see which one calls me. And then once we tried this big stone on, and then I said, it's too big for me. She said, okay, what is your range? Like, what are you looking for? I said, let's just start from the lower end, not from the higher end. Let's start from maybe 5 to, I said anything 5,000. That's what I told her. She said, no problem. And then we looked at the settings, and the settings, there were one with stones all around, which was great, but intuitively I looked at another one which had 2 stones on 2 sides and then a center stone in the middle. I said, I like that setting. So she said, great, that's a 3-stone ring and 3 stones represent past, present and future. And I said, bingo, that's exactly what I want. So there was such, it was almost like synchronous the way it worked out. And so I took the ring setting, and then she found a beautiful 1.10 carat diamond, which this is not lab. I asked for natural ones. So she found a very beautiful colorless one. It was gorgeous, and placed it, and I knew immediately, I knew this is it. I said, this is it. Okay. And then in the meantime, I was telling them they asked me, what do I do? So I talked to them about my business that I do. I talked to them about my music, and they both had their favorite songs. I said, I'm going to sing your favorite songs before I go. And I talk about my mandalas, and we connected so beautifully. And so she then measures the ring, the stone, everything together, and she says it's 8,100 or something, or 8,500, something like that. Then we tried swapping the middle stone for some other options. Nothing really resonated. She said, but you wanted under 5. I said, yeah. And then I left it. And then I started singing some songs for these 2 people. I sang 3 Hindi songs for both of them. They absolutely loved it. And they were so happy and joyful to connect with me. And the lady said, well, let me give you 20% off more. And I didn't ask for it, guys. She just offered it on her own. And guess the exact dollar amount that it landed at, 7,881. For someone who was negotiating to buy a $200 to a $500, maximum $2,500 ring, she said, that's what I can give you right now. And I said, let's just go with it. I didn't bat an eyelid. It felt so right. 7,881. I didn't know that was the number, by the way. She said she gave some 7,000 number. I said, okay, let's just go with it. When I went to sign the card, that's when I saw the number 7,881. And it's not an accident. 88 is a number of infinity and abundance, and 7 is a spiritual number. 1 is a beginning, new beginning. 1 is marking new beginnings. So this particular amount that I have paid is such a powerful energetic sealing of my arrival in to my new identity, and that external reality of $4.4 million is already done. This is me sealing that with a very powerful act of faith. The one thing that I haven't spoken about is, right, besides worthiness and receiving, one of the big things I'm mastering right now is surrendering and having absolute faith and certainty that the results are done. It's complete. I'm not seeing it physically yet, but internally, I've been so peaceful. I've been so calm. While my mind sometimes brings up the craziness of what is it that you're doing? You're sitting with this level of outstanding debts and income is here, blah, blah, blah. I am absolutely unperturbed by it because deep down, there is a very sharp, deep knowing. This is, I think, so important because my mentor used to talk about the ladder of belief. What that ladder of belief stands for is you start with needing something, to then wanting something, to then believing it's possible for you, to then knowing that it's yours. So that's the ladder of belief. And I will tell you, 4.4 million was, I did cross this ladder of belief from needing it to wanting it to believing it to now knowing it. This particular act of buying the diamond ring finally put me in the highest point in that ladder, which is knowing from a place of absolute faith, certainty, and surrender. And I keep constantly thinking and visualizing that the floodgates of my abundance are opening up. I don't know how, I don't know which way it's going to come through. Is it B2B, B2C? Is it a group? Is it one-on-one? I have no idea. This is the powerful place to be in. A lot of us freak out when we don't know because our mind wants certainty. It needs to know, how am I going to get there? Yeah, I have a plan of a how, but if that's not happening, because one of the things I had as a plan was to enroll a few more people into my Epic Leaders Collective program in the last few weeks, but nobody has joined yet. So I'm not sweating about it. I'm not beating myself about it. I said, okay, I did the webinar. I felt intuitively called to do the webinar. I did it. I felt intuitively to put the replay of that masterclass into ads. I did it. What's next? I'm simply sitting here asking what's next for me to do. I had this intuitive hit to go learn swimming. I've started that already. So I'm simply following the intuition, even though logically none of this makes any sense. So I'm sharing this long-winded story for you to help you understand that it takes a certain level of growth internally to move from fear to faith, to move from uncertainty to certainty, to move from being fixated and attached to surrendering, to move from being fearful to being faith-driven. And this shift is so powerful because with this shift, anything can be made to happen externally because you are creating from inside out. So here's the thing I want to leave you with in this episode. Watch yourself for every time you talk yourself into downgrading a dream of yours simply because it feels realistic, it feels rational, and it feels logical, and it feels responsible. Because all of these things are your operating system functioning from the old paradigm, the old ways of thinking, being, and believing. Money has been created by us. And if you are being held hostage anywhere in your life because of money, then it is simply a story that is running underneath in your operating system. It's not until you can see through the illusions that you have bought into can you create something new. So please ask yourself, where do you need to stop negotiating with your dream and be so audacious, so courageous, so full of faith, so full of certainty and trust in yourself that you can make that bold move, that bold decision, and take that inspired action. Because when you do that, your whole life is going to change. What would it take for you to stop calling your dream as unrealistic and start moving audaciously and boldly towards making it a reality? Let me know in the comments. And if you like this episode, like, share, and subscribe. I will see you next week.